Every prehistoric creature that roamed the United States, ranked from easiest to deadliest. You know that feeling when you walk through a museum and see huge skeletons towering over you? That's not just ancient history. Creatures like that once roamed across the United States. Long before cities and highways, this land was home to some of the most powerful and giant predators that could easily change your fate in seconds. In this video, we're breaking down major prehistoric creatures that lived in the US, so hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon and let's dive in. Number 10. The giant beaver. First up, we've got something that seems almost adorable compared to what's coming later. The giant beaver, or Castorites, was hanging around North America during the Pleistocene epoch. Imagine a beaver, but make it the size of a bear. We're talking 7 feet long and weighing up to 276 pounds. Their teeth were absolutely massive, like up to 6 inches long with this weird textured enamel that looked nothing like modern beaver teeth. The thing is, these guys were herbivores, munching on trees and plants underwater. Were they dangerous? Only if you were a tree. Honestly, they just wanted to chill by the water, build dams, and mind their business. They posed zero threat to humans walking around. Number 9. The Glyptodon. Now here's where things get interesting in a different way. Picture this, an armadillo the size of a small car. That's your Glyptodon. These armored herbivores had carapaces, that's fancy for solid dome shells, made of bone-plated armor so thick that predators literally couldn't bite through it. Some species had spiked tails that looked like ancient baseball bats. The Glyptodon reached coastal Texas around 2 million years ago after hopping over from South America. Were they dangerous? Not particularly. They were slow, they were armored like tanks, and they just wanted to graze. A predator might have grabbed one that was stuck in mud or weak, but an able-bodied Glyptodon? That thing was basically impenetrable. Number 8. The woolly mammoth. You've definitely heard of these guys. Woolly mammoths stood around 14 feet tall, weighed about 6 tons, and were covered in hair so thick it made bears look like they had thin coats. Those curved tusks could reach 15 feet long and were probably used for pushing snow away to find food and for fighting other mammoths. Here's the thing, while mammoths could absolutely defend themselves if threatened, they weren't actively hunting anything. They were grazers, living in herds, mostly minding their own business on the mammoth steppe that stretched across northern North America. They were definitely dangerous if you cornered them wrong. Number 7. The Dunkleosteus. Okay, let's shift gears for a second and talk about something that'll really mess with your head. What if I told you that long before any of these land creatures existed, there was a fish in the ancient seas that covered what's now North America that was absolutely terrifying? Enter Dunkleosteus, a massive armored fish that reached up to 35 feet long, making it one of the biggest and most fearsome predators of its time. Now here's where it gets wild. This thing didn't have teeth. Instead, it had bony plates that formed these razor-sharp edges, kind of like an ancient guillotine. Its bite force was estimated at around 11,000 pounds per square inch, which would have shredded through literally any other fish swimming in those ancient seas. The thing is, by the time early humans were showing up in North America, Dunkleosteus had already been extinct for over 350 million years. So while it was absolutely a monster of its environment, it wouldn't have posed any threat to people walking around the continent. But imagining that creature swimming beneath you in those ancient oceans? That's nightmare fuel right there. Number 6. The giant ground sloths. Okay, things are getting real now. Giant ground sloths like Megalonyx and Megatherium roamed through what's now the United States, and these things were nothing like their tiny tree-dwelling descendants. We're talking animals that could rear up on their hind legs to reach vegetation, standing taller than a giraffe. Megatherium could reach 5.5 meters tall and weigh up to 9,000 pounds. Those claws weren't a joke either. They were massive, sharp, and could tear through tree bark like paper. There's actually fossilized footprint evidence from White Sands National Park in New Mexico showing humans hunting these things, with the sloths making these wild circular marks in the dirt where they were swinging their front legs around defensively. Despite their size, humans figured out how to take them down. They were formidable, sure, but they were slow-moving and probably not the most agile attackers. Number 5. The Teratorn. Now we're entering the territory of creatures that could actually hunt you from above. Meet the Teratorn, also known as Argentavis magnificus, one of the largest flying birds ever to exist. Picture this, a wingspan that could stretch up to 23 feet wide, weighing around 150 to 200 pounds, with talons the size of grizzly bear claws. This wasn't your average hawk or eagle. The Teratorn had the muscle power and bone density to snatch prey weighing up to 40 pounds right off the ground. Imagine walking through the American plains and suddenly this massive shadow passes over you. That's a Teratorn hunting. These birds dominated the skies of North America from around 5 million to 6,000 years ago. What made them truly dangerous wasn't just their size, but their intelligence and hunting precision. They could spot prey from incredible distances and dive bomb with terrifying speed. Fossil evidence shows they hunted small horses, ground sloths, and other megafauna. If you were a vulnerable human child or an injured person stumbling through the landscape, a Teratorn could absolutely make you prey. These flying hunters represented a threat from an angle most land-based predators couldn't compete with. The sheer dominance of these creatures in their ecological niche made them apex predators in every sense of the word. Number 4, the dire wolf. Now we're entering dangerous territory. The dire wolf, or Inocyandyrus, was no joke. These things weighed around 150 pounds, which is significantly heavier than modern wolves, with more robust bones and an incredibly powerful bite. They weren't actually wolves like we know them today. They were their own thing, a separate branch that evolved independently in the Americas. Dire wolves hunted megafauna like camels, horses, and ground sloths. They worked in packs and were absolutely dominant predators of their time. Fossil remains show they frequently got injured and healed from those injuries, suggesting they hunted dangerous prey and experienced combat with other predators. The La Brea tar pits in California have given us thousands of dire wolf fossils because they'd come to feast on trapped animals and get stuck themselves. These were apex hunters that lived here until about 13,000 years ago. Number 3. The short-faced bear. Arctodus simus, the giant short-faced bear, was an absolute unit. We're talking about a bear that could stand as tall as a horse, weighing over 2,000 pounds, with a build that made it impossibly muscular. For a long time, scientists thought it was a pursuit predator, but newer research suggests it was actually a specialized scavenger. Those long legs? Perfect for wandering massive distances, tracking the scent of kills. That short, powerful skull? Perfect for cracking bones like a hyena. When this bear showed up at a kill site made by a saber-toothed cat or dire wolf, those predators would have basically surrendered their meal. Who's gonna fight a 1-ton bear over lunch? The short-faced bear was dangerous, not because it was the best hunter, but because it was the best intimidator, using its sheer size and strength to take what it wanted. Number 2, the Smilodon. Welcome to nightmare fuel. The Smilodon, or saber-toothed cat, was the deadliest predator per killing method on this list. Now here's the thing about saber-tooths. They didn't have incredibly powerful bites like modern lions. Instead, they had relatively weak jaws and weak bites, but that's because they didn't need them. What they had were unbelievably powerful forelimbs with those massive saber-like canine teeth that could grow up to 7 inches long. Their hunting technique was brutal and efficient. They'd use those powerful front legs to wrestle prey to the ground, immobilize it, and then go for the killing bite to the throat or belly. Computer simulations show their skull was optimized for restraining struggling prey, not resisting thrashing animals. They hunted from ambush using dense vegetation as cover. There's evidence they lived and hunted in family groups, and fossil records show healed injuries on individuals that wouldn't have survived without group protection. They were specialized predators that tackled prey larger than themselves with precision and ruthlessness. Number 1, the American lion. And finally, the undisputed king, Panthera atrox, the American lion. These weren't just bigger lions from Africa, they were fundamentally different animals. The American lion was 25% larger than modern lions, with limb bones more robust than an African lion, and limbs that were 10% longer relative to their skull. They had the body of a heavyweight boxer, built for power and durability. Unlike saber-tooths that specialized in a specific killing method, American lions were generalist apex predators. They could hunt using traditional cat tactics, stalking, ambushing, and taking down enormous prey. The La Brea tar pits have given us about 80 American lion skeletons, so we know exactly how built these creatures were. They hunted the same prey as dire wolves and saber-tooths, but competed successfully against both species for the same kills. The American lion was the top dog, or rather, the top cat, commanding dominance through pure predatory excellence. Nothing in North America was safe from these hunters. They lived here until about 12,800 years ago. So now I want to know, if you had to face one of these prehistoric creatures, which one do you think you'd survive the longest against? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more prehistoric and ancient history content. Thanks for watching.